What's up guys, Veldora-kun is here. I'm going to present you Volume 9, Chapter 1, Part 2 where Rimuru and Gazelle's conversation is continued and he visits Ingrasia afterwards. Don't forget to join our Discord server, Veldora-kun Subordinates. Also, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. That's it, let's go. Yes, it is correct. Even though I won the battle, I had the sensation that I was defeated in the match. Oh well, I suppose a win is a win. I told Gazelle the whole tale of Hinata and me fighting after expressing clearly that this was a secret. Unbelievable. That lady, in all honesty, is more powerful than I am. If we were simply talking about swordsmanship, it would be a different story, but in terms of general strength, I'd be drawn back. Yet you still came out on top? He had to be genuinely surprised that I had defeated someone of such rank. Luck played a part as well. Hinata was, in fact, far more powerful than Demon Lord Clayman, whom I had defeated. I feel it was mostly due to my abilities that I was able to win. I would have lost if it hadn't been for Raphael Sensei. Raphael Sensei was also one of my skills, but it was Raphael Sensei who was in charge of all my power. My defeat against Hinata would have been unavoidable if Raphael hadn't used a power I didn't even realize I had. Humph, luck is still a factor in your success. Although I am pleased with your improvement, I am disappointed in how easy you accepted your loss. Although if you say that, my genuine abilities are still no match for Hikaru. You're a strange person. Aren't your skills always part of your skill set, whatever your genuine skills are? King Gazelle seemed confused, but I was telling the truth. I'd probably be at Gobda's level if it weren't for Raphael Sensei. Of course, I will never ever tell anybody about this. Alright, that's okay. That's all well and good, but what are your plans for this time? What do you mean by that? What Gazelle was attempting to communicate was completely lost on me. What exactly do you mean? That's not the case. The Western Saints Church is now making efforts to officially open a door for further discussions with our Dworgen. Why did the Western Saints Church, which formerly regarded us as monsters, suddenly reverse their doctrines? This abrupt shift smells like your creation. Ah. Gazelle's outburst reminded me of my conversation with Hinata and her team. In retrospect, I believe I advised them that getting King Gazelle into this would be a good idea. For nearly 1,000 years, the Dwarven Kingdom has maintained its neutrality. Even the most dedicated followers of the Western Saints Church undoubtedly didn't think of dwarfs as monsters because of its remarkable credibility. Even if any did, it was most likely a very tiny percentage. I didn't expect Gazelle to get that enraged. Hinata is unlikely to admit that it was my idea, so I'll simply pretend to be unaware. Hey. I don't understand what you're saying. After battling for real with Hinata, I believe we struck into a bond with her. As a result, we reconciled and agreed to work together. So, maybe they didn't only want to get along with us, but also wanted to formalize a positive connection with Gazelle's side? Ho? Gazelle gave me a strange glance. For instances like these, I honestly believed I should be in slime form. Despite my inability to control it, I could feel cold sweat flowing everywhere. Notice. With Dictator, individual Gazelle Dwargo reads your mind. Because there was no aggression or danger, it was left alone, but do you wish to disrupt it? Yes or no? Yes. Of course yes. Please tell me anything essential as soon as possible. Raphael Sensei, now I get what you mean. I'd considered it before, but Gazelle possessed the ability to read people's thoughts. It's no surprise that I've felt as though he's been gazing through me from the first time we met. It all made sense if he could read minds, like the way he appeared to anticipate my statement and the moment he properly anticipated my assaults during our combat. Haha, you found out my mind read, huh? I'll compliment you on that, but interrupting that implies you have something to conceal, right? And no. I don't believe that's the case. You knucklehead. I had a glimpse of you thinking that bringing me into this would be a good idea. I had no option but to tell Gazelle everything about my talk with Hinata since he was so enraged. That's all there is to it. The 7 celestial sages, who claim to promote human dominance. Right. As a result, Hinata's side is contemplating expunging everyone who was influenced by the 7 celestial sages. They'd presumably assume that now that they're gone, Hinata has complete control. I kept Rumina's name hidden and simply told Gazelle about the Western Saints Church and Holy Empire Ruberio's internal predicament. He nodded and paused for a while to think about it. I get what you're saying. Then refusing the offer would be unwise. As a result, he ultimately decided to accept Hinata's, the Western Saints Church's, proposal. I had a feeling you'd say that. Shut up, You even did something without approval. Okay, that's alright. We'll conclude our boring debate here, as we're at a festival. Isn't it true that you reserved the nicest seat for me? You should do your hardest to amuse me. I learned that Hinata's line had also attended the founding festival, so we decided to have a more in-depth discussion once we met in person. Gazelle, too, stated that he needed to talk things over with his subordinates who were following along. Gazelle was sent off after I promised him that we would reunite after the festival. It was daybreak on the third day following Diablo's return to the Tempest. The party of Yom have come. He arrived at an excellent moment, since tonight was the eve of the festival, and the founding festival would begin the next day, after enough time of wait. Yom and many of his subordinates were positioned in front of me in the regular meeting room. It has been a long time, Your Honor. I've now become a king, like I vowed. His appearance had improved, but his manner had not. He stared me in the eyes with a rough attitude and a smirk. With a grin, I reciprocated his look. Truly, Yom-kun, clothes create the guy. From now on, I'll be under your guidance. Ha! That's where I'm going with this. I will assist you well to the end provided you make someone like me a king. We're all willing to help you achieve your goals. With a chuckle, Yom remarked, I'm not the sort to take shortcuts. Yom had grown into a powerful ruler, as predicted. The framework seems to have been securely created, thanks to Diablo's tireless efforts behind the scenes. The lengthy history of the Farmus kingdom has soon ended. Now a new country has arisen, with Hero Yom as its ruler. They chose the name Farminas for the new kingdom, which means a nation that was birthed in the midst of trouble. Yom, who became the first king of the country, made the decision at the same time to name himself Yom Feminas. Murin and Grusius, the two Magians who were standing next to Yom, were also with him. Yom would be protected as long as he was accompanied by these two guardian companions. Murin wasn't just a guarding escort, however. Please accept my apologies for the late welcome, Your Majesty Rimuru. I am the wife of Yom, Murin Feminas, the Queen of Feminas. I shall entrust myself to your care. Her beauty might rival that of any other noblewoman. Murin has the commanding presence of a queen. Right? That's because Murin, unlike me, is sophisticated. I may not seem to have much experience, but I do. Because Clayman was at the very least a gentleman. Clayman had acquired a refined taste for the better things as a result of his royal fascination. He would furnish his castle with fine furnishings and artwork, and he was likely just as attentive about his employees' training. Having experience in everything is beneficial. I'm also having trouble picking up correct etiquette. I was having trouble getting put up as a decoration while welcoming the many beasts of Jura Great Forest not long ago. Ah, I see what you're saying. I have a headache from the nobles' constant demands for an audience, not to forget the fools who start fights in order to obtain authority. Although that elderly man, Chief Sorcerer Razin, often solves such difficulties. In that regard, he didn't seem to be on his way. They said he was preoccupied since the situation in the nation had not yet stabilized. I was afraid he'd betray us, but then I remembered he had been under the influence of Diablo's tempter. As a result, my concerns were unnecessary. Even the former king chose to remain anonymous and work as an advisor. He had been a great assistance on the political side of things while assisting Yom, who lacked understanding and elegance. The other Majin was named Grusius. And I heard you've risen to the position of Chief of Knights? You are correct, Rimuru-sama. I refused, but once he sets up his mind, this man is unstoppable. Yom seems to have pushed Grusius into the position. Grusius, on the other hand, had a sour look on his face. I told him that obeying his heart would be the best decision he could make. Even though Grusius agreed, he couldn't refuse Murin's proposal. I'm still certain I'm carrying Sama's subject, but I'm going to take care of this fool for a bit. Shut up, you're the one who's foolish. Between these two, nothing seems to have altered. Murin merely stared at them, confused. We had to move on, despite my want to prolong this uplifting discourse. I concluded our talk after agreeing to take a drink with Yom later at our leisure. Aside from that, I have a present for Yom-kun for keeping your word. Diablo. Yes, Rimuru-sama, was this what you were searching for? Even though I didn't complete, Diablo seemed to notice. He displayed a certificate that he had produced ahead of time. Yom received it when I gave it on to him. Your Honor, this is? Yom wasn't accustomed to reading yet, so he passed it on to Edgar, his personal assistant. After viewing it, his expression altered. I will cancel the remaining restitution debt. Is that the point you're trying to make? That's correct, they're no longer needed now that Yom is king. In fact, we already have 1,500 gold star coins. 10,000 star gold coins was an insane amount, and I didn't need it because I had already met my aim. Haha, I'm not sure what he's saying, but that's what he says, Edgar. Yom smiled at Edgar, who was wide-eyed. Despite the fact that Yom didn't seem to comprehend, Edgar seemed to have understood the implications. Edgar was the son of Ed Mollies, the previous king. Despite the fact that Edgar was only 10 years old, he seemed to be a very trustworthy young man. With this, I thought Yom's reputation would improve. As a result of a demon lord's, forgiveness of the repayments, Yom was hailed as a brilliant man. My pleasantries at Yom's celebration came to an end. As agreed, I traveled to Ingrasia Kingdom to see Yuki. I planned to stop by the academy on the way there and take the kids with me. Because it was a festival, I felt it would be lovely if they had a good time as well. The streets of Ingrasia have a nostalgic feel about them. It had only been a couple months, yet remembering my time here brought a grin to my face. I made my way to the Freedom Association's headquarters without encountering any problems. I entered a temperature-controlled area via modern-looking automated glass doors. Several piercing stares were directed at me at that time. Some folks seemed to be attempting to assess my worth. They may have been preparing for a huge assignment since they were all assembled at the headquarters so early in the morning. Who is that? It's not a familiar face. A newcomer? Do you have any idea? No, I don't know someone who is that attractive. I was a bit uneasy when I heard murmurs like those. It dawned on me that I had forgotten I wasn't wearing a mask. I boldly stepped in with a naked face, believing I didn't need to wear anything anymore now that I could entirely control my aura. I had contemplated camouflaging myself, but it was too late. Fortunately, my attire was similar to that of an explorer, so if I behaved boldly, no one would suspect that I was a demon lord. Because the capacity to capture images has not yet become prevalent in our world, my face should not be well known. As I walked confidently toward the front desk, someone stood in my way. I got a feeling something similar had occurred previously. Wait, I'm not sure where you got that B rank from, but strolling past without acknowledging your superiors is unacceptably rude. Hey, you. Don't you realize it's proper etiquette for a junior to introduce himself first? That was it, I realize now. Deja vu. This individual was a friend of Cabal's. Given their previous complaints about greeting seniors, he seemed to be the sort that placed a strong focus on and cherished the interaction between juniors and seniors in a sportsmanlike manner. If my memory serves me right, your name is Grass? Do you have a lot of spare time since you appear to be at the headquarters all the time? Huh? Do you recognize my name? That is to say, my name is Rimuru. Remember when I was at Cabal's party? Grass was cut off, and I introduced myself. Putting that aside, what exactly was going on in Grass? I removed my disguise, but didn't my voice remain the same? Why aren't you aware of who I am? What? Rimuru-san? Yes. You must be able to identify me by my voice, even though this is my first time revealing you my face. I mean, huh? I seem to recall you being a little shorter back then? Grass was immediately perplexed when I told him my name was Rimuru. My rank was far greater than Grass's, thus I was his superior by his standards. I grew. Actually, I evolved rather than grew, but I didn't have to be open about that. I added a tinge of annoyance to my tone, which Grass gratefully picked up on. So that's all there is to it. Rimuru-san, putting everything aside, you're stunning. You must be unstoppable now that you've grown. I'm awestruck to see such a beautiful face in person. Alright. Also, you seem to be here all the time. Is it okay if you don't work? Hee, please don't say that. In fact, one of the positions I got was to teach newbies here. As you may be aware, there are many degrees of strength within the B rank, thus it is my responsibility to train any newbies who misbehave. Those people are in the same situation as us, but because we don't have anything to do right now, we were simply sleeping while on standby at the headquarters, Grass replied, motioning to the men who were staring at me, who immediately jumped up and welcomed me. I can't believe it was Rimuru, a B+ rating. I apologize for not recognizing you, the guy, who seems to be the representative, stated, with everyone agreeing. I don't think I've changed all that much. No, please don't say anything, the only thing that we were able to distinguish was your clothing. Yes, he is correct. That face almost looks like a trick. It's more than just capturing someone's attention. Is that correct? Alright, so the mask will be enough? I placed the mask on my face after surreptitiously making it in my stomach. The explorer's spirits sank, and their disappointment was seen in their eyes. Then please pardon me. Be kind with the newbies. I walked up to the registration counter after leaving those remarks. I introduced myself at the front desk and asked to meet Yuki. Oh, Rimuru-san, I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen you. Since the previous time, you appear to have had a lot of unpleasant experiences? You can't simply describe it as being tough. Hinata's unexpected strike, Farmus' army moving down on us, and even the demon lord summoning me. For me, it's been a never-ending assault of agony. Wouldn't it be more accurate to explain that it was extremely difficult, rather than just stating that it was tough? Haha, even after all that, Rimuru-san, walking out unharmed seems exactly like you, Yuki joked, but it was true that those events were really difficult to cope with. Yuki was presumably aware of this as well. His speech had a tinge of sympathy in it, despite his bright smile. In short, now that I've reconciled with Hinata, I can say that everything worked out in the end. It seems that this is the case. Meeting with Hinata on events to share information provided me the opportunity to compliment you on occasion. Hinata, unfortunately, seems to be the sort who is devoted to a fault. Ah, I see what you're getting at. She pays no attention to what others have to say. You're absolutely correct. She's the kind of person who only believes what she sees and hears with her own eyes and ears. Because of her nature, I've had to go through a lot over the course of these many years. That was something we could agree on, and we had a great time talking about it. Yeah. I couldn't tell you what Hinata was thinking at times. I can only image how difficult Yuki's life must have been. But Rimuru-san, you're probably the only person I can discuss this with. Hinata's circle of followers was large, enabling even the most innocent slander to find its way back into her ears, according to legend. To begin with, criticizing individuals wasn't something you should do on a regular basis. As a result, I decided that I should be cautious as well. Well, that's all. What are your thoughts? You don't have to force it if you're busy, but if you have time to spare for the festival over the course of 2 or 3 days, wouldn't you want to take part in it? Sure, I should go. I've been frantically doing my work in order to attend, you know? And, don't worry, my job will be taken care of by a reliable subordinate while I'm away. Hold on a second. Yuki rose up and exited the room as I spoke up the true reason for my visit today, asking whether he'll be attending the founding festival. I took a drink of the tea he'd left me, and Yuki reappeared not long after, accompanied by a lady. Let me introduce you to her. Her name is Kagali, and she has accepted the position of Deputy Grand Master of the Freedom Association, he added, presenting me to Kagali-san. Her attire, which looked like a suit with intricate embellishments peculiar to this domain, exuded beauty and elegance. It was ideal for her. Her large, pointed ears stood out against her navy blue eyes and blonde hair arranged in a bun. Her species was unmistakably elven in origin. It's a pleasure to meet you, Rimuru Tempest. No, Demon Lord Rimuru-sama. Kagali is my name. It is a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. This is the second time I've been here, but it seems that we were unable to interact the first time. I'd seen the lady who served the tea before, but this was my first encounter with Kagali. If it's someone worthy of becoming the deputy, I wish he'd introduced me to her sooner, but there was a purpose for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you continue supporting me on my next video. See you.